But we were interested in all of this because there are hundreds of Canadians who've expressed a desire for help to get out of Wuhan and out of Hubei province. But there are Canadians who are choosing to stay. My next guest has lived and worked in China for some 17 years now, doesn't live in and around Hubei, but happened to be there with his wife and daughter, celebrating, as so many were, with family in Hubei province when the lockdown went into effect. His name is Cameron Walker. He is with me in the Hubei province in Shanghai. And Cameron, it's a wonderful pleasure to welcome you to our program this morning. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, it's good to get a chance to speak to you today. Good morning.
And speak to everybody at home. I know anxious people wanting to see you and to see you look to be the picture of health. Number one, first question these days, how are you?
Yeah, absolutely. We're in great health. Actually, when I'm speaking to my relatives back in Canada, it seems like a lot of people have come down with the flu over there recently. So I keep telling them it's kind of a little bit ironic that we're in quarantine over here, but we actually are, at least right now, are very healthy.
Well, that is good news, and may it continue. So when you say we're in quarantine over there, you're a Canadian. Why are you not in line at the airport trying to come back to Canada and get out of Hubei?
Well, to be honest, it would have been a tough choice for us because we're not in Wuhan itself. We're in Xiangyang, so we're 300 kilometers away, and you know the highways are more or less shut down. There's no easy transport to get to Wuhan, so that wouldn't have been easy. Number one, but there's kind of other factors too. For us, it would have meant going from a city that has, I think right now here the statistics are about 800 cases. Into a city that has, including the suburbs, has something like 15,000 cases. And then in addition to that, we saw some news reports from the French evacuee flight that some of the people on the plane were symptomatic. I think, you know, that all three of those factors added up would have made it a tough decision. But to be honest, we didn't get to make that choice because we were told by the government, or at least by the person who called me, that in order to be on the flight, only Canadian passport holders who use their Canadian passports to enter China could be on the flight. And my wife is a Chinese citizen, so she wouldn't have qualified. And also my daughter is actually, she has a Canadian passport, but when she's in China, she uses China travel documents. She's essentially a dual citizen. So apparently she wouldn't have qualified either. So once we heard that, you know, I was the only one who would get on the plane, to be honest, the other factors went out the window. It didn't really matter. It was a non-starter.
So many things that you are weighing. Can I just to let you know, interestingly, that French flight that you mentioned, they showed symptoms, but everybody on board that flight ended up testing negative, which is good news. But there is the concern, obviously, of what might happen. For you, though, as you think about it, had there not been family concerns, obviously those are top of mind for you, might you have tried to get on the flight?
We would have considered it. It would have been a tough choice. But I mean, like I said, the phone call, it was a 2-minute phone call. Because
was that
once
from a Canadian or a Chinese official? It was, Cameron, sorry to interrupt. Was it from a Canadian official or a Chinese official that gave you that information?
Yeah, I signed up through the Canadian government website to say I was here. And I got a phone call from an Ottawa phone number, a Canadian government official, just asking me if I wanted to be on that plane. That was maybe about 5 days ago. Okay. But it was a very quick phone call because given the information that he gave us, it was a non-starter.
It's interesting because they have, it seems, really worked closely with Chinese authorities to make sure that permanent residents and dual citizens are allowed to travel, particularly with children, make sure families stay together. Anyway, the choice is made. You are staying now for the foreseeable future. How do you feel about that, in that we know, I mean, there's extraordinary lockdown, but it's completely open-ended. They've given no indication of when you'll be able to go back home, back to your normal routine. How does that feel? Well,
you know, on the one hand, it just feels crazy. You know, you see things tightening every day around here. On the other hand, I mean, I think so I have a lot of Chinese friends. I'm pretty deep in you know, I've been here a long time. I speak Chinese. I think there's high support for what they're doing. And even around here, people want to see this, you know, virus contained. And people, although, you know, a lot of the measures that are being taken and the quarantines, everyone thinks that it's quite, I mean, it's obviously, it's crazy. It's very draconian. But at the same time, everyone kind of wakes up in the morning, looks at the statistics and hopes that one day, because of, you know, what they're doing here, the numbers will start to ease up. The numbers will start to go down.
And they're not yet, for sure. Okay, you've raised a couple of things I do want to ask you about. The fact that you speak Chinese, that's so important. The information that you're getting, I mean, we're hearing reports today that, you know, Xi Jinping, they're really starting to crack down because of all of this information about numbers going up and up and up. They're starting to try to control the messaging on social media and elsewhere. Do you feel satisfied that you are getting from Chinese authorities the facts, enough information to keep you safe?
Well, the way I would describe that is, I mean, we're getting a lot of information, for sure. And you get local information through kind of, you know, relatives and, you know, through social media. But you're also getting the official data every morning, and it's pretty comprehensive. I was here during SARS as well. So 17 years ago when I first came here, was pretty much right when SARS hit. And I can tell you that it was pretty much the polar opposite situation. Like you literally had no idea what was going on a daily basis. So, I mean, the situation is not good. The numbers are going up daily, but I feel like we have a lot more information than we did back then.
Okay, that's an interesting change. And as you said, things are tightening up. I mean, from all images and all accounts, normal activity there is essentially stopped. Give us a picture of what you're doing, you and your family, as this continues.
Yeah, so it's a ghost town. Like you can look out the window on any given day, and if you see one person, that's a little bit, you know, it's a little bit of a surprise. So there's really nothing going on, you know. But we have TV, we have the internet. My daughter's school is starting distance education program, so she actually has a full day of schoolwork that we have to do with her. We're busy, to be honest. Half our day is helping her with that schoolwork, and the other half is me doing. I can work remotely, just the job that I have. So, to be honest, it's quite busy, but it's monotonous, and you know, you can't get exercise, you can't go outside, or you can barely go outside, and then obviously you have just the apprehension of trying to figure out what's coming next.
Cameron, just a pleasure to speak to you today and give us your perspective, your experience during these extraordinary times there. We'll stay in touch. Who knows how long this lockdown is going to continue, but may you stay busy and occupied, and good luck with that schoolwork. For your family watching, I know they'll be happy to hear from you today. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
There's Cameron Walker, a Canadian who is staying put for now. He's in Shenyang, China.